So what's going on, programmers? This is the fifth video still on the object-oriented programming series in Python, and in today's video we're going to be talking about special Dunder methods, and some people actually call them magic methods. Now if I go ahead and I create a variable name to be equal to James, just for illustration, you can see that we can go ahead and print the length of the name. Now this is a class of a class string, okay? So it's a string class, and you can see that we can access len for this class of what string. Now when I go ahead and try to print 1 plus 1, you can see that we have an operator plus over two classes of integers, okay? Now once I do that, I'm going to also print this string plus this other string. You can see that that actually works fine. You can get 5 for the length of name, then 2 for this, and then for the other one you're actually concatenating it. Now when we talk about special methods or magic methods, they allow us to emulate built-in behaviors in Python, and also helps us for operator of overloading, okay? So what that basically means is, as you can see, this plus operator, once I try to implement plus for a person class, you're going to see that we're going to run into an error. Now by the way, as you can see, I've trimmed down the classes to just a class of person just for the illustration for today's video. So first of all, I'm going to try to make a new person. So p1 is equals to a new person, and we're going to create that person, say James, and James, that's the first name. Last name is going to be Alexander, and he's going to be 34 years old. So we've basically created an object of this class person, which has an initialization of these attributes, and then that. So basically what I'll try to do is to print p1, okay? So when I run this, you can see that that is horrible, okay? If we wanted to represent this, we wouldn't want a user of our class to actually get this as the output when printing p1. Now there's a way to put that, solve that. So we're going to do def underscore underscore repr, which is like the representation of that object. So we're going to take self, and what we want to do here is we're going to return self dot, we just access the full name, okay, which is a function which we've actually built here, which has already this. I could have returned this, but since we already have that, we don't repeat ourselves. Keep your code dry, don't repeat yourself. So once I try to print p1, what are we going to get? You can see that that is a much more presentable version of this person, which is James Alexander, getting the first name of that person. Now we saw other operations like adding and length, and we're going to try to define underscore underscore len, which wraps around when len is called on an object, okay? So underscore underscore len, we're just going to take self. Now for a human being, I don't know what the length should be. So in our case, since we basically have a number, which is the age, I'm going to give that. So we're going to return self dot age, okay? So once I try to print the length of p1, okay, print len, the length of p1. So we would get what? Control Z, sorry for that. We would get 34, which is the age of the person, okay? The age of the person. So that is quite great. And you can see that once we have a function below here, say maybe a plus operator, a len operator, a print operator, or whatever, you will notice that we actually have to implement some top level special methods to be able to actually access those functions or overload the methods or the functions of the function. Okay, I'm starting to mumble. So as we said before, we were able to add 1, or to add a class of integers. So print 1 plus 1, and you can see that it was able to do that. So we were able to call the plus operator on the integer class. Now how do we implement that? Can someone guess that? Yes, the add. You do underscore underscore add. Now let's do that below here. Def underscore underscore add, okay? Now the convention for this is actually taking self and order. So these are just conventional names. It doesn't have to be order, it can be whatever you want. So self and order, and what would make sense to be to add two employees together, or sorry, two persons together. So I would actually return the sum of their ages, just to see that our function is actually working. For real classes, You only implement them when they really have a usefulness to you. But I guess every class should have a RAPR function. So we could go ahead and return self.age plus order.age. Okay, so let me go ahead and I'll clear out on this, and I'll say p2 is equals to a person, and we're gonna give the person name Jamie Anderson. So this is gonna be a 12-year-old kid, and we're gonna try to print p1 plus p2 and see what we get. And once we run that, you can see we're having a 46, because when we try to print 34 plus 12, we would get 46, which is basically what the add method is functioning. So as you can see, the first special method we had was the init. So it's like the Dunder method, as some will call it, which Dunder stands for double underscore. I'm not a fan of it. So double underscore methods, and you can see we have the RAPR, the len, the add. I'm going to show you one more, which is the def underscore call. So self. So what we just want to do, let's just return self.fullname. Okay. So once I go below here and I clear out on this previous prints, and we try to print, instead of printing, let's just say p1. So I want to print that here instead of to return that. So print this, print that. Okay. Print self.fullname. So you can see I'm calling this object or this instance of the class, and what are we going to get? We have James Alexander. Now, is that not great? Now, what this is basically telling us is a basic way for programming in Python. We need some functionality below here. We go ahead in our classes and actually define that function. You can go through the standard documentation, and you can find a lot of this in the Python documentation. Have fun with that. That's basically what we'll be covering in this tutorial, and I really hope this tutorial was useful to you. Another extra thing to add is when you call in this len, it actually gives your class the ability to be sorted and also passed into other kinds of functions. So it's actually great to implement this Dunder methods. Now in the next tutorial, I'll see you guys in the next tutorial actually. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, leave a like and a sub. And if you want to watch other videos on this tutorial series, just check the playlist in the description of this video. And I'll be seeing you guys in the next tutorial. Thanks for watching.